Hello, I am Randy Kleiner, the founder and CEO of SeriesFest, and welcome to the Q&A for Girl Boxer, which is featured in the independent pilot competition for SeriesFest Season 6. And we have some very special guests, so please give a warm welcome to the cast and creators here, starting with Lauren McCann, creator, director, and lead actress. Molly Gazay, the pub singer and writer of the original song heard at the credits. Jack Mulcahy plays Charlie Doyle, David Sittler, who plays Danny Doyle, and Dominic Savilli, DP, editor, and all-around magician. So get ready for that. This is already going to be a great Q&A, I can tell. So Lauren, I wanted to start with you and just ask where the concept of Girl Boxer came about.
So it kind of started with my trouble as an actor. I am a former kindergarten teacher. I am a stay-at-home mom, and I was told you will never get cast as a soccer mom, even though I kind of am a soccer mom. So I really transformed myself to play roles that are really hard. I play contract killers. I was the devil. But you know what? That's not who I am. But yet I know that there are so many women who have this duality of this absolute nurturer. But if something really happened to my family, I could be the devil and I could be that contract killer. So I wanted to create, in this, a whole show that really focused on this duality that a woman might have and how far would she go into that dark side for the sake of her family. So this whole show revolves around the love of family and what consists of family and how that changes from person to person.
I love that so much because you can see that in all the different family relationships that you start to explore, you know, not just with yours, but then, you know, with the different subsets. So that's, that really comes through. It's very exciting. Dominic, I'm going to go over to you next because I think the production design, the editing and the cinematography is so striking. You know, it's very dark, but it's very stylized. And I wondered if you could talk a little bit about your process and maybe any inspirations that you had.
I don't really have a process. I like to think of myself as a energetic DP. Like I like to feel the space of the locations, feel the text on the page and the performance of the actors, and you know, sometimes things feel right and I go on my gut, and if, you know, me and Lauren were like, yep, this feels good, we like this is what she was going for and this makes sense. And other times it was like, this doesn't feel all right. What if we combine the shots and do a one shot, or if it was handheld? So and mostly for me, it's like as a cinematographer, it's like where you put the camera is where you put the audience. So I'm a big movie buff, so I'm always thinking about where the audience is, because I'm consistently thinking about where would I be as an audience member emotionally through this story.
I love that. Thank you. I want to talk because people will have just watched this pilot and turn in here, and the end of the pilot is so captivating and shocking. And you know, spoiler alert if you haven't, don't watch any more of this. But with the kidnapping, but how you sort of did that with the music, and I want to talk a little bit about the music, about the choice to go to black and white. I mean, it's just so stylized. So Lauren, a little bit to you, and then maybe over to Molly to talk about the original song again.
It really did. That whole thing really did start with the song. And for me, it's something awful and horrible, but yet the way that it's shot, it is almost beautiful. And it's needing a song that would bring those two ideas together and freeze time. So it almost numbs you. And that song is exactly, we had this idea and I knew Molly and I was like, this is what I'm going for. We need something that's haunting, that just leaves you breathless. And she did it.
Molly, talk to us about writing the song and how you kind of came about it.
Yeah, so Lauren, like she said, had emailed me and was like, hey, could you write something similar to this? And I had already had, as soon as she said that, I was actually at my piano when I got that email. And I had already had a song that I had written called The Land of Broken Things. And it was originally on something called A Guitar-Lele. And it just never felt, so A Guitar-Lele is like a small guitar ukulele. It's got 6 strings, but it's in the key of a ukulele. So it's a great instrument. But I had already had the song, like something similar in the song on that, but it just never fit. And when she approached me about it, I knew what the script was going to kind of need towards the end. I knew what the montage was going to be. So I didn't know what the visuals were, but I knew the emotion behind it. So I thought, well, if I take some of this and incorporate it into a piano version of the song, I think it'll fit. And it was crazy because it almost fit exactly when I wrote without even seeing the edited cut, and which like technically was great. And I think also with the song itself, it really is about what's happening in the moment, but the emotion of a mother, and this is where I came from. It was like being a mother and telling your daughter or your son, like, close your eyes, it's going to be okay. The monsters are going to go away if you just focus on me, and I'm not going to ever leave you. And yet what's happening on the screen is completely different. So it's almost like this lullaby to a child in a very intense, distressed, emotional moment, to try to soothe those who are watching this and say, it will be okay, or will it? I don't know. So I don't know. That's just kind of where I came about it. There was a lot of emotion involved. And especially knowing Lauren, especially knowing her relationship with her daughter, and especially, knowing the script, I felt like writing it from the point of view of a mother telling their daughter everything's going to be okay, when it's, we're obviously saying that it's not, would impact the viewer as they were watching it happen.
Absolutely. It's truly a beautiful moment. And I also have to quickly commend you on your beautiful voice that we get to hear. And I want to go over to our other 2 actors who are on with us. And Jack, I'll start with you. I want to know how you got involved with the project, and talk a little bit about about your role and journey.
Lauren and I had done a short film together called Beyond Kepler, and we'd only met at the table reading, and then we met subsequently at the actual screening in Staten Island, and that's when she approached me and gave me the premise, and I just was gravitated towards it almost immediately, just through her description of the character and the story itself and the proof of concept, and I felt that we had something quite spectacular there. So, and we just dived right in.
Absolutely. And David, nicknamed the Beard.
Yes. Which I had in the shoot too. Which at the time we didn't know if I'd be keeping or not, but then I kept getting cast with it, and I did a guest star and a co-star in another TV show. So I was like, I need to keep it, and so that's kind of why we added that one moment, like, nice touch, just to kind of justify a little bit. But it's back. But I met Lauren. We just got together, and was just taken by her enthusiasm for the project, what the project was itself. And she says she's a mother and a kindergarten teacher, but she wore so many hats in this production. We used her home to shoot a lot of the scenes, and it was just, she's a dynamo. And it just, Dominic, your work, I am blown away by every time I watch the movie. It's just incredible.
The beard needs to be backlit, bro.
Hey, it does.
Good work.
This is your first time behind the camera as a director. Is that correct?
My first time for anything. This is the first thing I've written. This is the first thing I've directed.
I'm not making this up. I read that you're a 7-time marathon runner, mother of 2, and you have a PhD in education. Is that all correct? And you tell us why. I mean, this is just so incredible as a first time out of the gate. I was really, really impressed when I found out you were a first time creator, because
thank you. I mean, I'm the person that when I discover something that I love, I want to find absolutely as much as I possibly can about it. I just want to suck up everything and then just dive in. So when it came to the idea of making this pilot and then creating a series out of it, you know what, I'm just going to do it. And in doing that, I want to do it well to the best I can. I liked going to school. I got a PhD. I liked running. I decided to start doing marathons. I also have 2 young children, and that helps with my long distance running. But because of that, I've never done this. I wanted to surround myself with the right people. And I mean, you can see my crew of the right people, you know, around me, and everybody was very willing to teach and take their time with me. But I'm like Dom. I love movies, and I watch things, and I think, like I've just started watching the John Wick trilogy. I secretly want to be cast as John Wick.
Who will?
But why couldn't we have that as a woman? And, you know, I love all the Tarantino films. I love Guy Ritchie. And, you know, aside from Kill Bill, I can't think of too many that have like that real dominant female who's out there making people scared, but then also being so loving. So that being said, I wanted to create it, and my vision was the one that I wanted to dominate, not somebody else's. So I made sure that I was directing it.
Well, I love that. And you can really tell you have such a dynamic ensemble of people around you. And it really, I think it really shows through just at every level and at every moment, you know, on the camera, and now getting to see some behind the scenes, I can see that it definitely is felt all the way around. So I truly commend you for that.
Thank you. My big thing was I wanted to surround myself with good people, and they might be the most talented person out there, but if they are an asshole, I don't want to. So we had great people, and because of that, it just went so smoothly, and we're all kind of buddies still, and can't wait to be together for the next one.
Well, we're actually, this goes by so quickly. We're actually to a final question here, which is what is your plan? What's next?
So, I've learned a lot just after writing this and creating this proof of concept. If I want to make a proper drama like this, it has to be an hour. In my mind, I wanted to make 30-minute pow, like screw up in your face and leave you wanting more, and then just binge the whole thing. But if you want to take those moments and actually like get that feel, that shot, you know, done this one singular shot in the bar, if you want to have that, and you know, the slow pans across the bar, it needs to be an hour. So I have since taken this half-hour drama and created into a 1-hour episode, and then with that 1-hour episode, stretch it to be 8 for one season. And then each season, my idea is kind of like The Wire, whereas you always had the central group of characters, but each year, each season, you had a different focus. So one year was corruption within the cops, one year was within the education system, one was at the docks. So with Girl Boxer, you'd always have this girl boxer and her crowd of people, her family, but they would then be more involved with different families each season. So we get to know the Russian bikers and the Russian family. So the next season would be a real focus on what family means to them. The following season, when you see it in the boxing match, you know, there's guys with suits on, and there's guys there and girls there with biker jackets on. So those guys with suits, they have families too. They have stories too. And this whole dynamic has changed their family system. So it's something that I want to keep the same, but then can change each season as we go along.
I love that. I love that. Well, I'm sorry to end this because I could keep chatting here for an hour easily with all of you. But I really do appreciate you taking the time, and I look forward to getting to know you even further during SeriesFest. Thanks for Girl Boxer. It's wonderful.
Thank you, Randy.
And have a good rest of your day.
Thanks, Randy.
Thank you, Randy.
Bye, everybody.
Great.
All right.